following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hello, and welcome to the Box Score Breakdown Show, brought to you by Hoop Ball. My name is Adrian Benjamins, and I'm joined by Neil Rochlani. Neil, how are you, man? How was your Thanksgiving?
Hey, man, I'm happy for two reasons. One, Thanksgiving was fantastic, although I'm still stuck in my hometown because of flight issues getting to Chicago. But the second reason I'm happy, Adrian, is because I am on the verge of beating you this week in fantasy basketball. Yeah, I don't know if you've been paying attention. I'm currently up 6-3. I was hoping it to be 9-0, but I'll take this.
I did see this, and it is not actually a surprise to me. I had a feeling you were going to whip my butt this week, and I was actually a little surprised that at the beginning of the week it was as close as it was. Neil, no excuses from my end, but I will say, man, I lost out on Dejounte Murray. Karis LeVert went down. I just got John Collins back, so I've been playing the beginning of the season without John Collins. So this has been probably my roughest league as far as like injury goes. But no excuses, man. You got a strong team, and if I had to lose, I'm glad I lost to you.
You're so much more gracious than me. Thank you. I might boycott the podcast if I was losing right now. So.
And revenge is a dish best served cold, my friend. I will be seeing you again in 12 weeks, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be back. I'm sure by then you'll have figured out how to assemble your team in a way that destroys me. So I'm counting on that. Anyway, we haven't talked since Wednesday, I think, the night before Thanksgiving. So it's been a few days.
Since our marathon show.
Yes, our longest show ever. It was an hour and 50 minutes. Tonight should be shorter. We're just going to cover the games from today, and then any other issues we should talk about. Is there an issue you want to talk about, Adrian, before we get started?
Well, Neil,
yes.
So you and I spoke briefly about Dwight Howard and how he's dealing with a personal issue. Neil, I don't quite understand it myself, exactly what he's going through, but it sounds like he's going to miss some time. Did you want to add anything on to that?
No, I don't want to laugh about it because it's pretty crazy. I'll just say it's a pretty serious issue from what I understand. I don't know all the details. I'm not really a big off-the-court person. I know the NBA has so much like soap opera drama off the court that a lot of people love to follow, and this obviously would fall into that category. I'm just going to say hopefully there'll be some clarity on what his status is going forward. So just from a fantasy perspective, we can understand if he's going to be back with the team or what his status is going to be for basketball in the future. I don't know the details to know if this is something that is career ending or if it's nothing at all. So anyway, hopefully everyone involved is okay, and we'll just leave it at that. I think right now, we had talked about in the beginning of the year how Dwight Howard takes away rebounds from every single player on the team. So if he's not back, we can at least assume that those players will get better. But we're also expecting Washington to might blow things up, so that could change as well. So I'm kind of sitting tight on the situation until I find out more about his status playing. Other than that, I don't think there's. That's all I have to say. On that situation, have you noticed any other injuries or other related news that you want to talk about? Like we were talking about beforehand, I don't think there's anything else major that's coming up in terms of injury news.
No, nothing else from my end. And we got a pretty good 8-game slate right here. So let's just dive straight into it, man. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. You want to start us off?
I'll start us off, man. I think the first game of the day was Orlando Magic and the Los Angeles Lakers. And the Magic getting the victory in this one, 108-104. Going to start on the Magic side, Neil, and I'm going to talk about Nikola Vucevic. 31 points, 3 blocks, 2 steals, 7 assists, 15 rebounds, perfect 8-8 from the field, 3 of 8 from downtown, 8-8 from the free throw line, 10-20 from the field. Neil, this guy had an amazing day. Even had a dunk on LeBron James in this one. So Vucevic just went crazy, having a tremendous season. Neil, he's in the first round. He's returning first round value in 9 category leagues. And I want to ask you, when I get through with the Orlando Magic, if you think he can keep that up for the rest of the season. Aaron Gordon with 17 points, a steal, 4 rebounds, was 8 of 14 from the field with a 3. It's an okay game from him. DJ Augustine with a nice game here, 12 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, a 3, shot 5 and 9 from the field. I don't know what's going on with Evan Fournier right now, but he has been somewhat of a letdown the last few games. 6 points tonight, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, only 2 of 10 from the field, no threes tonight. Very disappointing. Off the bench, Terrence Ross had 16 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals. Not too much here. Jonathan Isaac is still continuing to disappoint, coming off the bench, playing limited minutes, only 6 points for him, 1 assist, 5 rebounds. Neil, I got him in a few leagues. I'm just going to kind of keep him benched until maybe he can get things going. Neil, what are your thoughts on the Orlando Magic, and specifically, you think Vucevic can keep up this hot pace for the rest of the season?
Well, I don't know if he can keep first-round value looking across the board at his statistics, but I do think top 20 is in play. Right now I'm seeing an ACAT, which is what I'm a little more familiar with. He's at 11th on a per-game basis, and I think he could drop a little bit. He's at 1.1 steals. That could come down a little bit, and he's at 55% shooting from the field. That might dip a tiny bit, but he's been so consistent all year. So maybe he drops a handful of places, but I expect him to finish somewhere between 15 and 20 and early 20s. So, yeah, pretty close to where he is. He's been fantastic this year. And I feel like every game, like he's going to have like a bad game. He has not had one all season. It's been fantastic. And another thing I would add is Jonathan Isaac. Yeah, this guy's been disappointing. I was trying to look up on my phone really quickly. There was someone who asked a Twitter question about rankings, and I had responded to him. And I don't think Isaac is even someone who I would own at this point. I shouldn't say that. I would own him, but I would not, like you said, I would not start him. I would hold on to him, but there's other players I'd rather pick up for upside than him. Like, I think Mikal Bridges is someone I recommended over him. So, I know we still think Isaac can return top 50 value, but it just could be a while before that happens, before he, on a per-game basis, once he starts playing and gets a lot of minutes, which could be a while. So it's been disappointing.
Yeah, I agree with you on that Jonathan Isaac take. And, I was a huge Jonathan Isaac guy coming into the season. I was drafting him really high. But I agree with you, Neil. In standard leagues, you just can't own this guy right now. He's just not playable, and there's no guarantee that he's going to become this top 50 stud later in the year. There's just no guarantees on that. So I agree with you in standard leagues. If you need to move on, I'm still holding him in 14 team leagues, and I'm still kind of hoping he can turn things around, but it's a long shot for sure.
Yeah, I was really big on him, and I was up until last week, and I'm starting to fall off. I still think it's possible, but with every passing game and every disappointing performance, it's starting to become harder and harder to believe. So we'll see. Anyway, should we go to the Lakers side?
Yes, sir.
All right. The Lakers, as you said, fell at home today. LeBron James, 24 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Struggled from the line, 6 of 11. Did make 2 3-pointers, had a block. Kyle Kuzma, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, including 5 of 7 from the line, 2 3-pointers, and a steal. JaVale McGee, what a stat line, at least in one category. He had 12 points, 7 rebounds on 5 of 9 shooting, 2 of 2 from the line, and 7 blocks. Lonzo Ball with a pretty decent game, 9 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 9 from the field, a 3-pointer, and a block. Brandon Ingram, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 of 5 from the line, 2 steals. His percentages can still be a little harmful. Off the bench, Caldwell Pope played 27 minutes, but really no fantasy value. Stevenson, 15 minutes. He had the best line off the bench, 13, 3, and 2. Tyser Chandler, only played 15 minutes, which I thought was the most interesting thing in this game. He's been getting into the mid-20s, and really wasn't a foul trouble issue. Maybe it was just defensive issue or matchup. Josh Hart has been falling off. This guy at one point was looking pretty good, and now he's just outside the top of 120, and he's just falling away. And I think it's droppable at this point if you somehow still have him. Ingram, likewise, 154 in ACAT per game. He puts up some pretty good popcorn stats, but his other numbers tend to hurt you. The only two guys right now, Adrian, in the top 100 are LeBron James at 5 and JaVale McGee. Who would have thought that when the season began? 32nd I'm seeing. So this team is not great fantasy-wise, and not much to take away from tonight except Josh Hart. If you were holding on, I would drop him. Ingram, not someone I would pick up. Maybe you want maybe Lonzo, if you can buy low on him. Maybe take a chance on him. He could turn around a little bit here as he's getting a lot of minutes, but that's about it.
Very disappointed, Neil, that when Rondo went down for an extended period of time, I thought Josh Hart was the ad. I thought he was going to step up, and definitely doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I agree with you 100%. Move on from Josh Hart. I'm going to stick with Brandon Ingram, though. Even in standard leagues, I know right now he's just returning late round value, but I think it's possible he can start improving. And I do like his stat set, meaning, he can help you in multiple categories. So I'm going to stick with Brandon Ingram. But, Neil, I'm pretty glad I avoided this team for fantasy. I didn't want to have anything to do with the backcourt and wasn't sure what was going to go on with them adding LeBron James. So I luckily in every league, I think I avoided all Lakers, and I'm pretty happy about it, man. Any closing thoughts here, or should I move on?
No, I like what you said about Brandon Ingram. I'm not as high on him, but I like the fact that you are. So we'll just it's nice to have some differences. So let's go on to game 2.
All right, man. Game 2 I got is the Phoenix Suns and the Detroit Pistons, and it was the Pistons getting the victory in this one, 118-107. Gonna start on the Phoenix Suns side, Neil. Gonna start with Devin Booker, 37 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 threes tonight. Perfect 6 of 6 from the line, for 14 of 24 from the field. It's a pretty good game from him. DeAndre Ayton, big double-double here. 25 points, 13 rebounds to go along with 3 blocks, 2 assists. Shot a very efficient 11 of 13 from the field, 3 of 4 from the line. Beautiful game from him. Neil, TJ Warren only played 15 minutes, got 6 points. I believe he was ejected in this one from he received 2 technical fouls and was ejected from this game. So I think we saw a spike in minutes from Mikal Bridges, who played 34 minutes. I know everyone's excited about this guy, popular pickup, love his skill set. The shot wasn't there for him tonight. Only made 1 of 8 from the field for 2 points. He did add 7 rebounds, 3 assists. No defensive stats, which is disappointing. No threes. I think we got to stick with this guy, though, and see if he can carve out some value later in the season. Trevor Ariza with 5 points, 3 steals, 4 assists. He did add a 3. And not too much off the bench. They did get some help from Jamal Crawford, who added 12 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds. Josh Jackson, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Still continuing to disappoint. And Rashawn Holmes, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks. Neil, wouldn't it be fun if Rashawn Holmes got starter minutes, but it's just not happening? What are your thoughts on the Phoenix Suns?
I would love to see Rashawn Holmes get starter minutes. He would be another pickup of the week, of the month, whatever that is. Yeah, a couple things I just want to take away from this. Ayton, as a rookie, has been phenomenal from fantasy value. It's really rare to see rookies do this well. 38th in a per game. I thought for sure Doncic would be number 1 in fantasy, and he's not too far off, but Ayton has been so good. Secondly, let's see, Mikal Bridges, like you said, 178 per game. That'll obviously, it's different if you just look at the games he's played a lot of minutes in, and that's going to come up. this team is going to go to tank mode sooner than later, and he's a perfect candidate to get tons of minutes once that is secure. He can get defensive stats. He can, he'll have some off-night shooting for sure, but overall I think he'll be around 100 once he's playing regular minutes. And same with Trevor Ariza. He's probably going to be in that same range, although Mikal has much higher upside potential. So, well, Trevor's probably steadier around the 100 mark. So those are my thoughts. Should I go on the Detroit side?
Sure.
All right. Detroit wins. They get a great performance out of Andre Drummond as usual, 19 points, 16 rebounds, an assist, 9 of 14. But boy, did he struggle from the line. 1 of 8 from the line. That just kills you. 5 steals. Blake Griffin, 16 points, 3 rebounds. Did have 11 assists. Shot 7 of 16 from the field. 2 3-pointers. No defensive stats. Reggie Bullock played 31 minutes, 13 points on 5 of 10 shooting, 2 assists, and 2 3-pointers. Glenn Robinson the third getting the start there, which I had talked about. I think we had talked about as well as potentially as someone we should keep an eye on in case he does seem to blow up, but not happening at all right now. Just played 14 minutes, 4 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Just took 2 shots, didn't make them both. Nothing else from his stat line. Reggie Jackson had a really good game. Someone who, let's see where he's ranked. I'll do that really quickly as I go through his stat line, but I've been avoiding him because of so much up and down this season. He's currently at 136 per game. Tonight, though, 19 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists. This is what really hurts you as well. The field goal percentage, 6 of 20 from the field, 3 of 3 from the line, including 4 of 15 from three-point land, 2 steals. These kind of stats tend to happen against bad teams, like tonight against Phoenix, so I'm still kind of avoiding him. Langston Galloway, 27 minutes off the bench. Stanley Johnson, this guy's career unfortunately just hasn't really panned out. 25 minutes off the bench. Ish Smith got some time as well as Pachulia. Really no one here else to talk about. What I'm taking away from this is Reggie Jackson is just a tease. He's not someone I really want to own on my team because of the field goal percent can kill you, and then you can have some really off nights to average in with some pretty good nights, and it's just kind of mediocre. Reggie Bullock just hasn't delivered as a shooting guard. And let's see, Andre Drummond, I really wish his free throw percent would have popped up this year. Last year, he kind of climbed up. He's back down to the 50% range, and it's really killing your team if you're not a punt free throw. So that's what I got in Detroit. What do you want to add?
Would just like to add that Blake Griffin is continuing to surprise me. If you would have told me 2 years ago, Neil, that this guy would have games where he has 11 assists like he did tonight and multiple threes, I would have said you were crazy. So, not the greatest game from him tonight, but still love the fact that he got 11 assists and 2 threes and having a pretty good season. All right, Neil, I'm going to move on to the next game. Next game I got up is the Miami Heat and the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors getting the victory here, 125-115. The number 1 team in the NBA with a 17-4 record. But I'm going to jump in on the Miami Heat side, Neil. I'm going to start with Josh Richardson, 19 points, a steal, and assists, 5 rebounds. He added 3 threes, shot 6 of 19 from the field, 4 of 6 from the line. Really happy to see James Johnson get the start. Still saw limited minutes here. He only got 19, and he added 6 points, 3 assists, no rebounds, no defensive stats, no threes, which is all very disappointing. But just nice to see him moving in the starting lineup and hope he can start ramping up his minutes. Let's see who else. Wayne Ellington tonight, 10 points, not too much else. The biggest surprise, I think, came off the bench tonight, Neil. Bam Adebayo with a huge double-double. 16 points, 21 rebounds, 2 blocks, a steal. Had a phenomenal game. Dwayne Wade turning back the clock. 35 points, a block, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Shot 13 of 22, made 4 of 7 threes, 5 of 7 from the line, played 34 minutes, just had an exceptional game. And probably the big disappointment here was Hassan Whiteside. who only had 2 points in 12 minutes, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, 1 block. Still nothing from Kelly Olynyk. 16 minutes, he put up 11 points. Winslow's not doing much. He played 30 minutes and put up 9 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. We're still missing Dragic. We're still missing Tyler Johnson. We're still missing Dion Waiters. Neil, what are your thoughts on the Miami Heat?
A few things here. First of all, yeah, Whiteside looks like he got in foul trouble, and they were getting destroyed early on by Toronto, so maybe they decided to sit him for an extended period of time. Adebayo off the bench. I picked him up in one league, and I've been streaming him, and it's just worked out for me, very fortunately. And I don't know. I don't think this is a sign of things to come just yet, but I would watch him. He may get scooped up, and if you have space to scoop him up and stash him, perhaps. But I think his minutes are going to go back to the 20-minute range, and will not deliver anything close to this. Same with Wade. Magruder is someone I'm really disappointed in. He started off playing so well this season. The minutes are still there, which is obviously the main driver for him in his stat set, and it's just hasn't worked. His usage is down to 16%. He's overall in the season 117, so he's just kind of hanging on there in relevancy. I'm still going with him where I have him, but if he continues like this for a while, I may drop him. As you said, they have more players coming back, like Johnson, who may not be relevant, but he might be relevant enough to take away stats from Magruder. Same with Ellington. Tyler Johnson is out right now. He'll come back. Winslow's getting 30 minutes. So there's just so much depth here that I think Magruder might eventually end up out of fantasy value. But just wait and see on that. Yeah, that's my main takeaway.
Neil, I just looked at our matchup and noticed that you picked up Bam Adebayo and you played him against me, you bastard. He had 21 rebounds and 2 blocks. And I also noticed that you played Jaren Jackson Jr. against me, who had 7 blocks tonight. I feel like I said previously, that you're stabbing me with my own sword. I'm going to get you back, man.
I didn't want to mention that was about Adebayo against you. I felt like I was already throwing the salt in. So yes. Anyway, I don't know what else to say, but it's all out of respect, Adrian. It's just you respect the ones you fear the most. So
what happened with the Raptors, man?
Let's go over to Toronto side. Like you said, the best team I think in the East, and someone who I think could probably beat. Well, let's not say anyone, but close to anyone in the NBA. First off, let's start with Kawhi Leonard, 29 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 10 of 12 from the line, 3 3-pointers, a steal, and 2 blocks. This guy, 14th per game in ACAT. I thought he'd be first-round value. I think he's going to end up right around there. My favorite player now on this team, Pascal Siakam, mainly because I picked him up, and he is just going nuts. 21 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 8 of 9 from the field, 4 of 4 from the line. His percentages are just phenomenal. 3-pointer, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Valanciunas gets the start tonight. This is going to go back and forth between him and Ibaka. Even though tonight they both played 24 minutes, Valanciunas had the much better stat line, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. Shot 8 of 10 from the field. No defensive stats. Danny Green, someone who I think is pretty safe in fantasy tonight, though really disappointing. Just 4 points, a rebound, an assist, 2 of 6 from the field, no 3-pointers, no steals, no blocks. Kyle Lowry, not a great scoring night, but he did have 12 points, 2 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 3-pointers. He's hanging around 19th. I think he might fall down a little bit, maybe into the mid-20s, but he's still going to be late second-round value. Early third-round value. Let's see. Ibaka played 24 minutes. He's had a resurgence this year. He's at 48th on a per-game basis. But it's going to be a split, like I said, between him and Valanciunas. So tonight, just 8.7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 of 2 from the line, and a block. I think you can count on him for around 50 to... He's 48th right now, but I think he's going to be somewhere between 50 and 60. Well, I think the guy who's might be the pickup of the year, Pascal Siakam. We'll see. There'll be a few candidates. Currently at 45th overall, and he's just getting more and more usage and getting better. He could be somewhere in the 30s. Let's see by it's all said and done. What are your thoughts on the Raptors?
Love your take on Siakam. He's locked and loaded. At this point of the season, it is not a fluke. He is the real deal. So I love him, man. And I'm very disappointed with this line from Danny Green tonight. I have him in quite a few leagues, but Neil, he's got a long leash with me. He's currently hovering around 90, rank 90 in 9-cat leagues. And so, he would have to have quite a few bad games for me to pull him out of my lineup. So I'm going to stick with him. That's all I got, man. Any closing thoughts here?
No, ready to go on?
All right. Next game up that I got is the New York Knicks and the Memphis Grizzlies. Neil, I have no idea what's going on with the Knicks, man. They are beating teams, and this is a really good Memphis Grizzlies team that they beat here today, 103-98. I'm not sure if they realize that they're supposed to be tanking games, but whatever. I'm going to go ahead and jump in on the Knicks, and I got to start with Enes Kanter, who went Barbara Walters tonight, meaning he had a 20-20 double-double, 21 points, 26 rebounds, 3 assists, was 9 of 16 from the field. Just awesome game from him. Tim Hardaway Jr., 22 points, 2 assists. The shooting wasn't that great tonight. It was only 6 of 16, 3 threes, but you're definitely going to stick with him. He's the best asset on this team. Very disappointed with the line from Noah Vonleh today. I picked him up in quite a few leagues and was pretty excited about it, but somewhat of a letdown here. He only took 4 shots in 31 minutes, made 2 of them for 7 points, 2 assists, 1 block, 6 rebounds. I'm sticking with this guy, though. I love that the minutes are there. I think he's going to be much better than this as long as he's starting and seeing this kind of minutes. I think he'll be good to go. Emmanuel Mudiay, 17 points, 1 block, 1 steal, 4 assists, 2 rebounds in just 23 minutes. Neil, this backcourt is like a carousel of who's going to have a good game. Some nights it's Mudiay, some nights it's Burke, could be Trier, it could be Ntilikina. Tonight it was Mudiay. Tomorrow night it'll be somebody different. Mario Hezonja with 4 points, still continuing to disappoint. Trey Burke had 15 points, 3 assists, 2 steals in 29 minutes. Alonzo Trier hit double digits, 10 points, 1 assist, 4 rebounds in just 23 minutes. Ntilikina only saw 13 minutes for 7 points. Mitchell Robinson has just been a complete dud. I can't even remember the last time this guy had a good game, Neil. I'm still clinging on to him in a few leagues. I don't know how much longer I can do it. 0 points for him in 13 minutes. Kevin Knox, 0 points for him in 7 minutes. Neil, what are your thoughts on the Knicks?
The Knicks are really hard to figure out. I will say the only thing that perhaps did not shock me they got this win is because this was Fizdale's homecoming back to Memphis, and maybe the team was just really psyched up to play for him, and obviously he knows that team pretty well. But the Knicks are hard to figure out. I don't think they're a very good team, but they, like you said, they've beaten some good teams, not just and on the road as well. So that's really impressive. And I agree with you. Like, it's hard to know from night to night this is going to change. I thought Vonleh might be the third person to own on this team, but even that seems circumspect. So Hardaway, Kanter, and everyone else is a crapshoot. So I'm kind of staying away from anyone else on this team. I love your take on Barbara Walters. That was a nice reference. That was fantastic. Anyway, anything else to add before we go over to the Memphis side?
Just want to say that this was a really tough matchup. The Memphis Grizzlies are a really good defensive team, and it could be why Vonleh struggled tonight. He had Jaren Jackson Jr. on him, maybe Mark Gasol at times. So it's a tough matchup here. What happened on the Grizzlies side, man?
On the Grizzlies side, well, let's start with Gasol. He had a great game, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. He did struggle from the line, 4 of 8, 3 3-pointers, 2 steals, 5 blocks. This guy just keeps going, 18th in per-game basis. I think he's going to finish. I think he could finish in the top 20. He could hold there. I think it's possible. Second guy we talk about here is Conley, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 11 assists. Did struggle from the field, 8 of 24 shooting, 5 of 6 from the line, 2 3-pointers, a steal. So happy to see this guy back playing well. Just one of those guys that it's easy for me to root for. And and he's back in sort of that 40. He's at 46 right now. I figured he'd finish somewhere between 40 and 50. Maybe get into the 30s. And ACAT, I don't know if we'll get there, but certainly this 46 is kind of where we kind of thought he would be if he was back playing again. And then your guy, but my guy as well, Jaren Jackson Jr., 16 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 of 6 from the field, 4 of 4 from the line. From three-point land, 7 blocks. Anyone who tries to trade for JJJ, I'm just having none of it, Adrian. This guy, sky's the limit. 8, and I said it was at 38 in per game. Jaren Jackson, 57. I would not be surprised if Jaren Jackson ends up as the number 1 rookie this year. We shall see. And he's in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. We'll see how it all plays out. Garrett Temple, 33 minutes. Let's see what happened to him. I have a little. He fouled out. He is just not someone who's worth owning. Maybe the most boring guy in fantasy, as we talked before. 5 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist tonight. Not even boring, just bad. Did have 2 blocks and 3 turnovers. JaMychal Green is back, but not fantasy relevant. 19 points, 6 rebounds. 6.7 rebounds. 2 of 2 from the line. 2 blocks. Shelvin Mack, someone don't believe in. 4 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. That's really it for the Grizzlies. If you own Jaren Jackson Jr., that's one thing to be thankful for. That's my Thanksgiving reference. Anyway, any thoughts on the Grizzlies?
Love your take on JJJ, man. I agree with you. I think he's gonna just keep getting better and better throughout the season, and I think he will be in the mix for Rookie of the Year. And you pretty much covered everything, man. I'm gonna move over to the next game. Next game I got up is the 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets, and this one was a very close game. Jimmy Butler hit the game winner in this one to put the Sixers up 127 to 125. And going to start on the Sixers side, gonna check on Ben Simmons, who only had 13 points, shot 5 of 13, but he did also add 2 blocks, 3 steals, 9 assists, 5 rebounds. Jimmy Butler, 34 points, 12 rebounds, 4 steals, 2 assists, 5 threes tonight, including that game winner that I talked about. He was also 11 of 20 from the field, a perfect 7 of 7 from the line. This was an exceptional game from Jimmy. Joel Embiid with a big double-double, 32 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, shot a nice 11 of 19 from the field, 10 of 12 from the line. It's a great game from him. Wilson Chandler added 10 points, 5 assists. JJ Redick with 15 points, a 3. He only shot 5 of 14, so the shooting wasn't that great from him tonight. Shamet added 16 points off the bench in 19 minutes. Not too much else to talk about here off the bench. Neil, what are your thoughts on the Sixers?
Yeah, the Sixers, we're still kind of watching how it's all going to filter out with Butler there now. It's good to see Jimmy sort of have one of his games tonight, including that game winner, as you mentioned, and a great stat line that we expect him to have. Embiid still chugging along. He's 7th overall in ACAT, and I think he's going to finish in the top 10. Simmons, on the other hand, his free throw percentage and his lack of threes just really are hard to overcome. Currently 42nd in per game, and I think he might finish right around there. Let's see. The only guy I thought might get a boost, or a couple guys I thought might get a boost, I should say. Wilson Chandler, who I'm now I'm not even kind of watching anymore, although he's getting a lot of minutes. I just don't think he'll be fantasy relevant. Muscala, I thought might be, I don't know. I was hoping he might be someone who emerges from this, from the trade, and he's not doing it. Shamet as well. So looks like Redick's getting a boost, and then obviously Fultz is going to be gone, so we'll see who they get in return. I have a feeling they're going to try to make a push this year, so they might get another rotation player who might provide value, or at least maybe take away some value from other players. We'll see how that plays out.
It is.
Oh, go ahead.
It's a shame that there's not another player like on this team other than the big three, Simmons, Butler, and Embiid. They also have Redick. There's just nobody else on this team that we can trust. Neil, I'm really tempted to tell the listeners to go stash Markelle Fultz in case he lands in a favorable spot. But then I saw more footage of him taking those crazy free throws, and I just want to change it. I just changed my mind, man. Don't even stash this guy. I don't know if he's even worth it.
Yeah, I know. It's so unfortunate. Everything I hear from like people who understand NBA talent way more than me say he's a talented player. It's just he hasn't developed obviously into professional level yet, talent-wise, and his mentally, it's just something's there. So we'll see. Maybe he'll turn around. Long road ahead for him. Head over to Brooklyn side. And Adrian, this is one guy I'm going to give you credit on, D'Angelo Russell. You were hyping him up on the offseason. I was totally against you. He is currently 58th in ACAT, and tonight's line is going to help him. 38 points on 16 for 28 from the field, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 4-4 from the line, 2 3-pointers, and 1 block. Certainly a beneficiary of the Karis LeVert injury, but he has been having a solid season nonetheless, and I think this 58th ranking is not a fluke either. Another guy who's benefited coming off the bench is Spencer Dinwiddie, 31 points tonight, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 11 of 15 shooting, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 4 3-pointers. Let's go back to the starters. Jared Allen, 17 points, 10 rebounds, no assists. Did go 3 of 5 from the free throw line, no blocks tonight. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson back in the starting lineup. This is probably the most interesting guy to talk about because he was someone people were stashing, thinking once he gets in there again, he's going to be relevant. Jared Dudley is no longer starting, at least not tonight at least. And Jefferson gets 30 minutes, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 6 and 9 from the field, and a block. Now, any other three-point land, he is one for one from three-point land. He is someone I think worth stashing if you can get your hands on him. Joe Harris, someone who I thought might be relevant this year. He's 122 in ACAT, so kind of on the fringe tonight. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 4 of 10 from the field, a three-pointer, a steal, and a block. I think he's going to be right around this value. So if you need a shooting guard who can shoot decently and get some three-pointers, I think he might be one to lock on to. That is really it. Carroll, not fantasy relevant this year, just playing 18 minutes tonight. Ed Davis has had some flashes, but just not someone who's fantasy relevant in most leagues. So my one takeaway is Hollis-Jefferson. He's probably floating out there. If you can, I wouldn't drop someone who's fantasy relevant, but if you have someone on your bench who isn't, pick him up and see where he goes. He could be there in a week from now. What are your thoughts on Brooklyn? Oh, besides on the congratulations on D'Angelo Russell.
I can't take full credit for the D'Angelo Russell success. He is definitely getting helped out from the Karis LeVert injury. His usage has jumped up considerably since LeVert has gone down. Neil took 28 shots tonight, which is far and above anyone else on this team. So he is definitely benefiting from Karis LeVert being gone. I love your take on Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. This is the move we've been waiting for. He's in the starting lineup, saw 30 minutes tonight. He he was dealing with an injury at the beginning of the year. If he can get over that injury and see starter minutes, which he saw tonight, I actually think he could be a pretty solid fantasy asset. Make sure he's not still floating out there in your league. All right. I'm going to move over to the next game, Neil. Next game I got up is the Charlotte Hornets and the Atlanta Hawks. Neil, another game that went down to the wire. John Hawks, I heard, got the game-winning block in this one. John, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start with the Charlotte Hornets here. Marvin Williams, I read the first double-double of the season for him. 20 points, 13 rebounds, 4 threes tonight. Great game from Marvin Williams. Kemba Walker just continuing his stellar season. 22 points, a steal, a block, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 threes. He only shot 7 of 23 from the field, but you'll still take this game from him. Jeremy Lamb with a nice game. 13 points and 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Neil, another guy that you used against me. Damn you. Nicholas Batum, 14 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 5 of 8 from the field. Pretty good game from Batum. Zeller continuing to disappoint. Only 7 points in a starting 28-minute role here. He did have 2 steals, a block, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, but still you hope for more. Monk having a great game off the bench, 26 points, 2 rebounds. He added 7 threes tonight, shot 9 of 15. Miles Bridges, I've moved on from him. We don't really trust anyone else on this team. Kaminsky's not happening. This game was a little interesting. Kid Gilchrist is still out with an injury. Hernan Gomez didn't even get in this game. Neil, what are your thoughts on the Charlotte Hornets?
Yeah, this is just more confirmation on the pecking order of the wings that I was nervous about because I do own Lamb in a lot of leagues. Him and Batum still seem to be the 2 guys who are getting the bulk of the minutes, while Bridges and Monk could have good lines from night to night like Monk does tonight, but certainly not going to have enough minutes to be consistent. Marvin Williams, what a great line, 20 points, 13 rebounds, but someone I don't trust. He is 169th. Maybe he jumps in the top 150 after this game, but to me it's just not enough, even with the solid minutes night in, night out, to be fantasy relevant. So not taking away too much from that. I think Lamb, he's currently 80th. I think he's going to finish more around 60th by the season's end. I think if this minute stays up, so I'm happy it's trending in the right direction for him. And the Batum is the other one I'm trying to figure out. He's 96th. I thought he'd be more like 75 to 80 this year. I think 96 might be more his real value. So we'll see how that goes. He certainly doesn't look very great. I don't know if you watched too many Charlotte games. He looks a little slow out there this year, and I don't know if that's just aging or something else going on with him, but doesn't have the athleticism he once did. All right, should I go on to Atlanta, the team that won, surprisingly?
Yes, please.
All right. The Atlanta Hawks. Let's start with John Collins. John Collins. I know I said that wrong. 23 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. We had talked about this last week, Adrian. Get him in your lineup. This guy is poised to just skyrocket up the rankings. 11 of 16 from the field. His percentages are going to be great. Just 1 of 2 from the line. That'll be okay, though. And a single block. That'll come up. Taurean Prince, someone I think is going to be just fine as well. But perhaps I don't think we'll be nowhere nearly as good as Collins by season ends. He's currently 83 in ACAT. 16 points, 1 rebound, 5 of 13 from the field, 3 of 3 from the line, 3 3-pointers, though. Dwayne Dedman, 22 minutes, 2 3 and 2. Did get a steal. Kevin Huerter, another rookie, I believe, who gets the start. 22 minutes, 4 points, 3 rebounds. Adrian, I don't think they wanted to win this game. 5 assists, 2 steals. Trae Young, an ACAT, he's just fine. 18 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 6 of 18 shooting, 2 3-pointers. 2 of 2 from the line, 4 3-pointers, 2 steals and a block. He is right at 100 here in ACAT, and I think he's going to finish inside of that. 9CAT, it's a whole different story with all those turnovers. And then this is the one that I wanted to talk to you about because this is a guy who I loved last year. I think you did too. DeAndre Bembry, off the bench, 27 minutes, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 7 of 10 from the field, 2 3-pointers, and a block. Do I stash Bembry? He's currently 160. Do you think there's any chance he becomes fantasy relevant?
Oh, man, I would love to tell you yes, Neil, because I, like you, am a Bembry fan. I've liked him since last season, and this is nights like tonight is exactly why we're seeing here what he's capable of. But I'll be honest with you, Neil, I don't think we can trust him, man. This team has all of a sudden kind of become a little loaded with Taurean Prince, and they still have Bazemore, and now the emergence of John Collins. This was the breakout game we've been waiting for from John Collins. He's locked and loaded for the season. So I am taking a wait-and-see approach with Bembry, but he is on my watch list, Neil. I can understand why you want to stash him because he is capable of having really nice games. And so for me, I'm going to just watch and see if he can keep this up. If he has another few games like this, then I'm going to jump on him. In certain leagues where you need to be really proactive, maybe he's worth a stash right now. Neil, super quick, the other guy that I'm intrigued by is Herter. He moved into the starting lineup tonight. It didn't happen for him, but I do believe this team's going to tank, and I think he could benefit. Neil, going into the draft, he was touted as like a Klay Thompson-like player, one of the best shooters in the draft, can provide points and threes. I'm going to keep an eye on him in deeper leagues. Definitely didn't happen tonight, but I'm curious if it can happen at some point. Neil, any closing thoughts on the Hawks?
Yeah, I wanted to mention, I forgot two more players I think they're relevant. Kent Bazemore and Lynn played off the bench. I won't go through their stat lines, but Bazemore is currently 65 on a per game basis in ACAT. He's going to fade. They're not going to play him. He's actually a respectable player. I think he might get traded or sit on the bench because they are going to tank. And Jeremy Lin as well. I know he's had some good games. He's 120th in ACAT. More recently, he's been certainly well inside the top 100, but I think he could see his minutes like 21 tonight on a regular basis. So I am holding off on him as well. This team does not want to win despite the outcome tonight. So those two guys I think were worth mentioning, but ready to move on now.
All right, let's do it. Next game I got up, Neil. Two more games to go, you guys. So we're almost through here. Utah Jazz and the Sacramento Kings. The Jazz getting a win here. Neil, would you be surprised if I told you that I'm actually shocked that the Jazz got a win here over the Kings, 133 to 112. This one was somewhat of a blowout. I'm going to go ahead and start on the Utah Jazz side. Rudy Gobert continuing to have his stellar season. Big double-double here with 18 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, a block. Shot a very efficient 7 of 11 from the field. 4 or 6 from the line's okay. Joe Ingles with 18 points, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 threes tonight. Shot a very efficient 6 of 8 from the field and 4 of 4 from the line. Ricky Rubio, man, just continuing to keep his foot on the gas pedal. 27 points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 threes tonight. Shot a very nice 11 of 16. It's a great game from him. Even Jake Crowder had a good game. 14 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds. This is pretty nice. I guess I should also mention that Donovan Mitchell missed this one. And so, maybe a bump in usage and value in some of these other guys. Off the bench, Derek Favors with 11 points, 3 steals, 3 blocks, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. Had a pretty good game here off the bench. Alec Burks added 14 points in 21 minutes. Not too much else here. Pretty much everyone else off the bench disappointed, and we don't really trust any of these guys off the bench. Neil, what are your thoughts on the Jazz?
I know. I mean, I love your initial comment. Who would have thought Utah, beginning of the year, we're going to Sacramento, and in my mind, I thought Sacramento was the team that was going to win tonight. That's crazy. That's why I love sports. That's why I love the NBA. So excited to see Sacramento turn things around. Utah, we thought might be the third best team in the West. They still could get there, and this is a nice sign. I will say that Rubio had a good night. Gobert had a good night. Really, I'm surprised, though, without Mitchell, they won so well, right? That was the only surprising thing I saw. But other than that, not much else to take away. We kind of know this team. Derek Favors is the one guy who's kind of hanging on there for value. Hold on to him if you obviously need rebounds and blocks. Any thoughts on Crowder? I had owned him at once and I dropped him. He got the start tonight in place of Mitchell. Do you think he's worth owning?
Yeah, I think in deeper 14-team leagues, he's an own. He's a little up and down, but I think if you just take those averages, I think he'll be okay in deeper leagues. In standard leagues, I probably wouldn't own him unless you're really desperate. If you got a pretty stacked team in a standard 12-team league, you're probably not going to drop your worst guy for him. But it's all dependent on your situation.
Yeah, fair enough. I was he was my 3-and-D guy for a while, and I dropped him. And obviously tonight with the start, he did pretty well. But I think overall he's on the outside looking in. All right, I'll hop over to Sacramento side. I think they're having issues, integrating Bog back and how to ramp up the minutes for Bagley and their other plethora of guys on the front court. So perhaps that's what's going on. I think this is still a really solid team that has a chance to make a run at the 8th seed. I'll start with De'Aaron Fox. 13 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Struggled a little bit from shooting, 5 of 11, 2 for 5 from the line. He did have a 3-pointer, 3 steals, and a block. Buddy Hield, who's been just fantastic this year tonight, quiet, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 of 10 from the field, 2 3-pointers himself, no defensive stats. Willie Cauley-Stein, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. A disappointing night from him. Had a single block, but Bogdanovic getting the start. This could be a harbinger of things to come. I thought he was a must-add if he was sitting out there tonight. 20 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 of 6 from the line, 2 3-pointers, a steal. Bielitsa, 18 minutes, 12, 5, and 0. Did go perfect from the field, 4 of 4, and from the line, 3 of 3, including a 3-pointer and a steal. I still think his numbers are his days are numbered, and his fantasy value is going to collapse pretty quickly because guys like Bagley, 30 minutes, 18 points, 6 rebounds, 6 of 12 shooting, 6 of 8 from the line, 2 blocks. I remember, Adrian, when we were talking preseason and we were talking about, you were doing all the muscle watch, the yoga watch, all the different watches on these guys. You were telling me Bagley, this guy's a 2010 guy. I thought you were a little just, being hyperbolic, but you could be right. He could end up with 20 and 10 by season's end. I don't see why not. 18 and 6, certainly 18 and 8 for sure is, I think, realistic for him when he gets this many minutes. So 20 and 10 is in sight for him. Justin Jackson got 21 minutes. Harry Giles got 20 minutes. 10, 8, and 6 for Giles, the one fantasy line. He did get 4 steals as well and 2 blocks, so a fantastic line for him tonight, but I just don't trust it. It's unfortunate they have so many guys that can put up high fantasy value in a short amount of time. Just don't know what the minute rotation will look like. And then Frank Mason, the third, got 18 minutes. Like I said, the only thing I'm taking away is Bogdanovic is going to keep climbing. I would trade for him if you can somehow buy low. Probably too late now after tonight. Bielitsa, if someone wants him, I would sell him. Other than that, Cauley-Stein, Hield, and Fox just, had a rough game tonight. Don't worry about them. Bagley is going to keep climbing. Another guy, probably won't. Maybe he'll be in Rookie of the Year consideration. I don't know. There's so many good guys out there. He might be on the outside looking in, but he's going to get a run going forward, and he's going to put up good fantasy value.
Neil, Marvin Bagley, make sure he's owned in every league you're in. I already checked in all my leagues. He's owned. Followed up his last game where he had 20 points and 17 rebounds with that beautiful game tonight with 18 points, 6 rebounds. 2 games in a row where he's seeing over 30-plus minutes. The team is making the transition from Bielitsa to Bagley. There was a lot of buzz that the front office was disappointed with the coaching staff because they were playing Bielitsa so much over Bagley. Now we're seeing the switch here. Neil, he's got to be owned everywhere. He probably already is. Just double check that he's not still floating out there. And then, Neil, I love your take on Bog. Crack to the starting lineup tonight. He is only going to get better as this season progresses. Make sure that he's owned. I'm sure he is, but you guys just double check that he's not available. All right, man. Was that was the end of that game? Well, I've got one last game left. Is that what you're seeing?
I'm seeing one more left as well. Let's do
All
it.
right. Here we go, man. The LA Clippers beat the Portland Trailblazers. Neil, I was very intrigued by this game because these are 2 of the top teams. Isn't that crazy? The two of the top teams in the Western Conference are the LA Clippers and the Portland Trailblazers. But it's true, they are. I'm going to look in over at the LA Clippers side. Tobias Harris. I need to actually flip over, if my computer will let me, real quick. I need to see where he is because number 29 in 9 category leagues, currently returning 3rd round value. Neil, we were both pretty high on this guy coming into the year. He has not disappointed at all. 34 points, 11 rebounds, and assists, a steal, 2 threes tonight, shot a pretty good 14 of 22 from the field, perfect 4 of 4 from the line. Great game from him. Gallinari, 17 points, 5 assists, 8 rebounds, 1 steal, 5 out of 10 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3-point range, 5 of 6 from the line. Neil, I get asked quite a bit about this guy, and as far as like trades, like I'm getting offered Gallinari, and Part of me wants to say I'm scared because he's so injury prone, but the other part of me says, man, ride him till the wheels fall off, because he is putting up some pretty good numbers here. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, 12 points, 2 assists, a steal, a block, 4 of 9 from the field, 4 of 5 from the line. It's an okay game from him. I think he's going to be pretty good, though, for the rest of the season. Gortat, we don't trust. Only 6 points in 16 minutes. Off the bench, your best front court player, Montrezl Harrell, probably one of your best players on this team, period. Montrezl Harrell, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 5 of 11. Hurt you from the line tonight, 4 of 12, but still having an outstanding season. Neil, nothing really else off the bench. Beverly not doing much, 7 points in 21 minutes. Lou Williams only getting 17 minutes is very disappointing. Teodosic, I heard, could be heading back to Europe. Boban didn't even get in this game tonight. So it's some interesting stuff here. Neil, what are your thoughts on the Clippers?
Well, first of all, I strained Patrick Beverly this week to try to beat you in steals. He has not been stealing at all. I lost you by 3 steals in this week.
Yes.
Could have been 7-2 if Beverly would have got a couple swipes. Unfortunately, he's only 11.7. He is just fallen off the radar. Not worth owning in any size. Well, I guess I shouldn't say any size league, but 185th currently in a game. I think, is it Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Is it Shea? I think it's Shai, right? Gilgeous-Alexander. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. I like this guy a lot. I know he has some stat set issues, but 1 steal, 1 block tonight, 4 or 5 from the line. He's 141. I think he climbs at least 20, 30 places higher than that by season's end. And then, like you said, Tobias Harris just holding his own. It was amazing. I was high on him, but I was high on him with, like, in the back of my mind, I was like, can he really lead a team and lead a good team? And that's what they are. They're a good basketball team. Right now, like you said, the top of the West. Certainly that may not be the case by season's end, but they are looking like they are competing against almost everyone. Good to see the Clippers playing well. That's really it. Avery Bradley, someone I thought, one of these 3-and-D guys who's had in years past some value. Tonight or in this year in general has just been a disappointment. So no longer on my radar at all. Anything else before I go over to Portland? All right, I'll go over to Portland. Let's see. Let's start with Damian Lillard, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 12 of 27 from the field, 3 3-pointers. CJ McCollum, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 8 of 21 shooting. 2 3-pointers, no defensive stats. Yusuf had a very quiet night. Just played 15 minutes. Might just on a bit of, I don't know what happened. Not foul trouble, but 4 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal and a block. Harkless back in the starting lineup with just 17 minutes, 4 points, a rebound. Just took 4 shots, made 2 of them. Very disappointing. Not someone worth owning as well. I thought he might be. Coming into the season, was injured, has not really looked good all year since he's been back. Aminu, 31 minutes, 0 points though, 7 rebounds and assist, 5 shooting. Another person on the outside looking in. Evan Turner, 27 minutes, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. This guy in a block. He's been getting some decent run in minutes. And occasionally he'll put up good lines like this. I wouldn't trust him over the long term. Maybe a streaming candidate on occasion. Myers Leonard. This is bizarre. 24 minutes, 9 points, 16 rebounds, 3 assists. This guy has been MIA all season. I'm not sure if this is just something to get in there because Yusuf had a bad night and then Zach Collins fouled out in 19 minutes. So maybe that's why he got a lot of run tonight. Let's see. Seth Curry did also play 23 minutes, but not much in terms of fantasy value. McCollum's really struggled this year. He's been the one kind of like outlier. This year he's 75th so far in 8-cat, and I think it's hard to buy low on him because the owner probably values him much higher, and I think he will jump up a couple rounds at least to get mid-round value. But We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. No one else here I really want to target. I think Aminu's on the outside looking in. Collins is not going to get there. Evan Turner's not going to get there. Nurkic is at 62, and I think that's about where he will land, somewhere in that range. And Lillard at 16 may go up a little bit, but that's kind of where we thought he'd be end of first round, beginning of second round. So not much else to talk about here. Any thoughts on Portland?
Neil, I did not realize what a disappointment this team was for fantasy purposes. Other than Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, I mean, there's really nobody else here that you can really rely on. It's just a wasteland, and it's very disappointing because this is a talented team, and I just feel like there should be some safer options here, but there aren't, and it's super disappointing, man. That's all I got.
Yeah, it is tough out there. You thought you might get a few guys here on the fringe that would pop up, but it hasn't worked out. All right, man. We finished the slate. We're back from our holiday break, ready to go into the Christmas season with lots of basketball daily. We'll be back on tomorrow night. I'm going to start, Adrian, with my Twitter, and then I'll let you take us out of here. Please follow me. I've gotten a couple questions here and there on Twitter. I love it. Give me as many as you want. Happy to respond. Talk about you on the show as well. My Twitter handle is at Ball with Neil, BALLWITHNEIL. And Adrian, why don't you send us off?
Yes, hit me up on Twitter at Adrian Benjamins. Neil, want to give a special shout out to Jesse Worth, who had some kind words for us on Twitter, said that he enjoyed listening to the pod. He likes how we bounce off each other and some of the fun jokes and fun that we have. Neil, I don't know about you, but it means the world to me to hear stuff like that because, you know, I really don't like listening or like reading to a lot of the comments on the show because I have low self-esteem and I don't know if I can take it if there's a lot of negative stuff. So I try to avoid the comments. Neil, I really don't know how many people listen to the show. I don't pay attention to those numbers. So sometimes I wonder, like, are people enjoying this? Like, are we doing a good job? So when I get messages like the one we got from Jesse Worth, it means the world to me. It lets me know that we're doing something right and at least somebody's out there enjoying the show. And that's all I need to keep going and to try to do the best that I can. So thank you very much, Jesse. Neil, any last closing thoughts, man?
Man, where can they hit you up on Twitter to give you more compliments?
At Adrian Benjamins. He's at Ball with Neil. We will be back tomorrow. Guys, we're rolling into week 7, so let's start dominating. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.